closed 85 schools in South Central LA. Where are these kids going? They put these kids right on the street. You got 8-year-old kids in and out of buildings.
Yeah.
Where's the logic?
You know, instead of setting up some type of a recreation center to bring the kids to while this stuff is going on, they have them report to every day, to calm them down. The kids are the ones out here in the streets, and we don't control the kids. They close all the schools, So to me, it's kind of like a rhetoric, They're saying you got to tell the children to stop, but then what are they going to do? They're going to be in the streets all day. You got parents. Irresponsible parents, you got responsible parents, you got parents with their own personal problems, on drugs, you know what I'm saying? That's a relief to them when they go to school, so they don't have to watch them whatever. Now, the kids are here like 24/7, and they don't know the emotions or the morals of going in and out of the store, all day. They're not even looking at it like that.
Well, you just said, we don't control the kids.
Yeah.
You're wearing the colors of the Bloods, you're wearing the colors of the Crips, two biggest gangs in the area. If you guys can't control the kids, if you guys can't tell them to lay off, who can?
Their parents.
It starts at home.
But yet and still, again, with so many kids out of school on hot days like it has been, you can't keep these kids confined in the house.
The United States government cocked up, what, $500 million to save the SNL? How much was that money they kicked? $500 billion to save the SNL scandals? Tell me they can't open up a recreation hall? They can open up the Coliseum and bring every kid to LA to the Coliseum for all day and educate them and talk to them. But they don't want to do that. They want to parade around the Coliseum and make sure nobody gets in. All they got to do is the LA Unified School District can bust those kids in there every day. If it's supposed, I understand it's dangerous for them at school, but they have a place to take them, but they don't rather do that. They rather spend the money on saving Ivan Boesky and the other guy that ripped off all those old peoples and the SNL scandals, And people look at this. You got the working class guy who says, well, shit, they're ripping off the SNLs for $500 billion. Why shouldn't I go get that VCR? Or why shouldn't I go get that fruit or Coke? I work hard. I deserve it. Don't let the Daryl Gates and Bradley fool you and talking about these are thugs doing this. You see it on the tapes. These people don't look like thugs. They're like family. They're going in with their whole families. And as far as the gang situation, we can give a damn about looting and burning. That's not our thing, Our
thing is straight up against the pigs.
Yeah.
Number one.
And their thing is straight up against us, And I heard people call them material opportunists because they're running in these stores, and that's right. And with the gangbangers, this opportunity is to get at these police, Because they've been killing us, stomping us, slapping us for years, But it never comes out. And everybody knows they've been doing it since the beginning of time.
And when we get them on tape, they get found not guilty in a system that doesn't count for us.
Yeah. In the couple of minutes that we've got left together, sum up for me what difference it would have made in the Rodney King verdict if one or more of those cops had been found guilty. You think you think this would have been stopped, or would it just have been something else that would have triggered it?
I think had they been found guilty, not one, but all four on all counts.
Because all four of them was guilty.
Exactly. Had they been found guilty, none of this would have happened.
You wouldn't even be standing here, Ted.
None of this would have happened.
Somewhere else.
That's true. Tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
But maybe I'd be here next week or the week
or
after
next year, maybe.
It's no doubt because the situation in LA has been volatile for quite some time.
That would have been the uplift off the people. Finally, they caught the guys with their hand in the cookie jar.
That's right.
So we figured they're going to prosecute and they got it.
And we can feel that justice is working for us in our community, which it hasn't. It never has.
And me, myself, I never had faith in the system. When I seen him on videotape and I watched Terry White prosecute him, I said, well, maybe this is going to be the turning point. Maybe this time, we do going to get some justice. And I heard the verdict, man. I was in the store and I watched a grown man cry with his little 7-year-old. He didn't say why he was crying, but I knew. I didn't ask him because I heard the word too. This was a slap in the face. And don't be fooled and let them try to. Now they're gonna write it off on the gangs is doing all this burning and shit. That's not us.
Right.
That's not us. You can go to any neighborhood. They're in their own neighborhoods, and they're waiting for it to get dark, like the police are waiting for it to get dark, because the police want to kill the so-called gang member and vice versa.
So it's on. Back
we don't care nothing about
way.
No shopping stores and none of that stuff.
So if it seems a little quieter today, when you hear, I don't know if you did, I mean, maybe you were just riding over here, the president gave a speech tonight.
Oh, right? Yeah.
Calling for a restraint, asking for people, right?
Yeah.
Does that have any impact on you when George Bush talks?
Look, George Bush doesn't have any, the only impact that he's had on our community has been his years under Reagan, when Reagan's steadily snatching social programs out of our communities. You see what I'm saying?
The same CETA programs who came about because of the Watch Riot. You know what I'm saying? You had the Watch Labor Movement because of the Watch Riot.
Exactly.
And people always said, well, what good is going to come out of this? It's going to be some programs. I heard some white architects on the radio the other day talking about coming in. This is what it took. you know, and that's the same way the seated programs, the hot lunch programs, and all that stuff came about because of the Watch Riot. You know, I wasn't even born in the Watch Riot.
One more
George
question.
Bush doesn't carry any clout in our community.
All right. Rodney King came out today, seemed genuinely moved, really concerned about all the violence, begging people
I saw that.
to back off.
Yeah.
How about that? Does that have any impact on you?
No, it doesn't, because like I said, it's just not about Rodney King. Rodney King lit the match.
Yeah.
Now we're burning.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just not Rodney King. It's everything that's been going on. We've been slapped in our face time and time again. This Rodney King case is an exact replica of what happened with Arthur McDuffie in 1979 in Miami.
That's right.
And then they had the riots in 1980.
And what was her name? Eula Love. They shot her 19
1978.
times. She held a butter knife from
right.
across the street.
That's right.
You know, they claim to be so professional, but they need to do their job and take people to the correctional. You know, they rather, instead of apprehending, they rather shoot anyway.
All right. I'm sure that there'll be a lot of people tonight watching this broadcast who will not agree with what you've said, but I'm sure they will agree. You're both eloquent young men, and I thank you for coming here tonight and talking to me.
Okay, can I say something to the Church of AME across the street?
As long as it's polite.
It's very polite. Sir, I don't know your name, Reverend, whoever, but it's okay you didn't accept us in your church, because we've not been accepted anywhere. You know, I was kind of surprised, but then again, I was not kind of surprised, because I know the politics of the church, you know what I'm saying? Not all churches. I'm not stereotyping all churches, but I wanted to be known on the record that the AME church, they want to stop the problem, you know what I'm saying? And we here, but they put us in the back alley while they sit over there and take breaking bread and water.
Crooks and criminals.
Gentlemen, again, I thank you both.
All right, thank you.